everyone. We want to welcome you today to the We Are Flora Pearl podcast. I am your host, Latasha J. Humphrey, founder of the Flora Pearl Foundation Incorporated. In a moment, we will jump right into this amazing podcast. But before we get started, we want to let our audience know that this podcast is being brought to you by the Flora Pearl Foundation, where our vision is bridging the gap, building a legacy. Our mission is that we are a 501c3, community-focused nonprofit mentoring organization, building healthy relationships and partnerships between women and girls through education, community service, networking, unification, and career planning. Our inspiration is Flora Pearl Humphrey. She was my paternal grandmother, and although she passed away in 2001 of a massive heart attack, what she taught me and my family was about faith, family, and community. And that is where I draw my inspiration from. Now, audience, I have the pleasure to introduce to you one of my sister friends. We met a while back and really had the opportunity to get to know one another when we worked together at the same company for a while. She is a woman who follows her heart. She will go against the norm when necessary. She loves her family, she loves God, and she believes in love. And I remember one time when I shared with her about a matter of the heart, and the look that she gave me was one that said, "Sis, I know what you are feeling, but this might not be God's best for you." We don't get to speak every day, but when I need her, she is there. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Kimberly Smith. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
How you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much, Tasha, for that introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. And it is just such an honor to have you with us today. And if you would just briefly introduce yourself to our audience.
Oh, absolutely. So, as Latasha said, I'm Kim. I am from Alabama, but I've been residing in Atlanta for about 11 years. 11 years, about a month ago, actually. I'm a human resources professional, and I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I am a daughter, and I'm a child of God. And that's pretty much it, summed up. I'm recently engaged, so I'm very excited about that. So that has been taking up a lot of my time. A new thing that I'm definitely looking forward to.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and definitely congratulations once again on that. And so thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the first topic, and it's about family. And like I said a moment ago, my grandmother, she taught me about faith, family, and community. And I know that you're big on family. I see with you and your family, you all share a lot of memories. And I know that your parents have been together for a long time. And so I wanted to ask you, what makes family so precious to you?
Well, it is just that. I mean, I have been blessed, thank God, to have seen my parents been together for 40 years, actually this month on Tuesday. And prior to my grandmother passing away a few years ago, my grandparents had been together for well over 50 years as well. So I think 55 or 56 years, somewhere along those lines. So just growing up, I've been able to have great examples. I was able to see a partnership between man and woman that has always really stuck with me. And just in my adult life, it's been something that I look for as well in a mate. So that has definitely been one of the driving forces that has helped me understand how important family is and the rock of a family.
Yeah. And for you, I know you shared a bit about that, but how did that upbringing shape you as a woman?
It certainly shaped me quite a bit. What's interesting though is it has certainly shaped me for the better. Okay, but I will say this: it took me quite a while to figure this out, though.
Okay.
So with my parents, and I love them so much, and I'm definitely not taking anything away from from the morals that they instilled in me and their upbringing that they reared me under. But I will say that early on in my childhood, I think the parenting style that they chose for me and my brothers, it was very real, but they also shielded and protected us from some of the harder times.
Okay.
And so what they did for me was, like, not only, like, I grew up thinking and on into my adult life that every relationship or every kind of relationship was always supposed to be good.
Okay.
And so when times, just with myself, if I was in any kind of relationship and things weren't so good, I had a little trouble understanding that, or I just really had to learn some aspects of that on my own, and go back to my parents. And I mean, as an adult, we were able to go through that and get a deeper understanding of all of that. But I had to be forced to go through some tough times to really get the full aspect of what a relationship was. So that's definitely something, that's interesting, and we kind of laugh and joke about it now. But yes, I was thinking everything was always supposed to be peachy cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but like you were saying with that, it's a blessing that you were able to go back, with your parents though, and really, kind of iron that out,
Oh, absolutely. And it's so funny. They married so young, and they tell me and my brothers all the time that they kind of grew up with us. So and they absolutely did, and it was raw. It really was. They really didn't. They were learning as they were young and being saved and trying to raise children and trying to make ends meet and all of those things. So what's important and what I take away from that is you might not hit the mark every time, but as long as you're correcting that and just trying to do better. So those are some of the conversations we like to have now, and just kind of look back on things and different situations and laugh about it and understand and appreciate how we've all grown from that.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I thank you so much for sharing and being transparent about that, and I wanted to say again, move into the topic about singleness, and it is kind of going hand in hand with what you talked about. Congratulations once again to you and your fiance.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. We're excited.
Yeah. And I wanted you to, just kind of talk about and being a single, how has your experience been, as a single woman?
Well, it's been a lot of things. It really has been. It's been fun. It has been. It's been a time that has taught me a lot. It has certainly shaped me. It's really, I don't think I can sum it up into just like one word. It's really been a lot of time, a lot of things. But what I can say is that I do appreciate the time being single and what God allowed me to endure during this time.
Okay.
Yep, I really do. There, just throughout the course of being an adult, we're always taught as a young girl to aspire to be, all these great things. But I think especially as you get a little older and you are still single, and you're not in the eyes of society, if you will, at a place where society makes you feel like you should be.
Yeah.
If you allow it to, you can, it's a test. It's a little test there, and those are trying times. But I don't know that. I was in a period of being alone, and with that though, I was able to learn a little more. I was able to trust God more. My faith, I was able to really understand what having faith and hope really meant. So I'm thankful for it. I really am.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, as a single, did you find yourself, especially with, like you said, even with your parents being together, but more so like with your father, did you find yourself at some point comparing different men to your father? As far as who you dated?
All the time. Yep, and it kind of ties back into what I was saying before. I kind of was under the impression like, what, that's just what is supposed to happen. My parents, they married when they were 19 and 20 years old, and so I didn't understand, like, is something wrong with me?
Right.
And so in dating, yes, I would do that a lot, and it didn't help that I'm a daddy's girl, if you will.
Right.
So a lot of the things that I was able to thank God, see being done around the house, and just little things, just little things. I certainly was looking for those things in a mate as well. But I will say this: I'm thankful for that example, certainly, and there are certain standards that I do think I should definitely keep up there.
Right.
Up there, and I'm thankful for that example. But I did learn also that there's a different kind of love, okay, between a father's love and one that a mate should provide for me too. So that's one of my lessons with that.
Okay. And just if you would kind of explain that more. When you think about a father's love, what are, I guess some adjectives that would describe it versus a mate?
Right. So, with that being said, no, don't get me wrong. I do think, I think that in both instances, you should certainly be loved. Okay, so with me just expounding on that a bit, what I was doing in situations is really more so putting not just having my own standards, if you will, but unbeknownst to who I was dating, having these expectations in my head of what I thought, or what I thought he should be to and for me.
Gotcha.
And so and I was getting that, from the relationship, that I have with my father. But see, my father has been my father for my entire life.
Right.
And and I'm his. I'm from his loins. I'm his. So it's just he handles me in a different way than someone who I just randomly met maybe, and we just so happen to get along great and want to go on a date, or that kind of thing. So when I was able to really understand and separate the two, I was able to really move forward and really just kind of understand what I should be doing, and those things that I should pull out from that relationship that I have with my father, and kind of look for in a mate. So.
Okay, all right. And as it relates to your fiance, how did you know he was the one that you would marry?
It really, I'm a feely kind of person. And don't get, of course, I'm not negating the fact that I, prayed and really sought the Lord, certainly. in this case. But just, and Latasha, you know that, like, I just think I'm a feel person. Like how things, you know, make me feel. And to be honest, he and I are certainly friends.
Okay.
It's so cliche. I know people like just throw it out there and say it all the time. Oh, I'm my best friend, you know. But we really genuinely are friends. Almost more so than anything else. Like if someone is around us or something, you would literally think we have known each other our whole lives. So it felt good and it felt easy. Nothing ever felt forced.
Wow.
I didn't ever feel like I was manipulating a situation to try to get him to act or react in a certain way. And those are, just being very transparent, those are things that I think as, you know, just being a single woman, situations don't turn out how we want them to all of the time. So if we're not careful, we can find ourselves doing things to manipulate situations, not people necessarily, but you can just, you know, do think, well, I'm not gonna answer the phone now, you know, just little different things. I never found myself doing those things, and it was a very natural flow into where we are today. It was.
Awesome. Well, we're going to segue into the topic about college to corporate America. And I wanted to first ask you, you know, as it relates to college, how was your experience?
How was my experience in college? I enjoyed my experience in college. It was exciting to me, yet scary. I had a fun time, but I was also, what I'm glad and thankful for is that I was able to meet and make connections with like-minded people who are still very much so in my life. I appreciate the education I received. You know, I'm thankful for that. I thank God that I was able to, you know, blessed to do that and to finish and, you know, and all that good stuff. But I am today most thankful for the relationships that I was able to form during those 4 years.
Okay. And do you believe that, you know, college prepared you for corporate America?
I do not.
Okay. No, that's real.
Yeah, I don't. Not the way that I thought that it would.
Okay.
Okay. So, it's so funny that we're talking about this. Not too long ago, I was having a conversation with one of my brothers. They're both educators in the college sector, and I really, really strongly believe that in high school and any preparation time prior to college, we should, especially in our communities, okay, try to expose our youth to as many career paths as possible. We should ensure that when we are at an age where we're picking majors and we're deciding the path that we think we want to take, that we're being properly mentored and that we have a basis to make that decision on. So, I'm sure there are programs and things out there, but like personally, where I'm from, very small town in Alabama, those things were not made available. So I don't know. I feel like we can go to college and go to school, and you know it's awesome that you might come out and you have this degree. But when it's really time to enter the workforce, and when it's really time to be able to make some money to try to, if you know, you had to take out loans, pay back these loans, or just really be a productive member of society. I'm not 100% positive a lot of the decisions that we made to get us to that point were as sound as they could have been.
Okay. Now, I do want to ask you, you know, Zion, he's going into his senior year, you know, with high school. And and I wanted to know, just based on even what you're saying with your brothers, and I'm sure that other, you know, people listening say they're in the same situation, or their children could be in high school, maybe even a junior. What is, you know, I know you shared a few things on kind of what the step, you know, knowing about the career path, knowing these different things. What are, you know, some different steps that you would say, or just some key pointers to do, like right in this moment before going into that senior year? What are some things that you would say, you know, or that you and your brothers have talked about?
Oh, absolutely. So, well, first off, I you know, just as a disclaimer, you know, I'm not trying to, being that I don't have any children myself, I'm certainly not, you know, I'm certainly, I know what lane, you know, I need to stay in, but just, I can't speak from the perspective of being there.
Right.
And just remembering and things that if I could go back and change, I would. So, the first thing is, like I said, just exposure. In our communities, there are so many statistics. I don't have any off the top of my head, but there are so many statistics with those subjects that our children typically score a little lower in. And so I feel like even with that exposure from very early to different things, to different avenues, could really help and assist as our youth grow older with those things. So, you know, little Timmy might know that he could possibly be an engineer because we didn't necessarily, you know, have him doing things in that aspect or arena, or, you know, doing extra math homework, or taking him to the Space and Rocket Center and those things like that. Okay?
Right.
But fast forward, say for instance, like you said, you're in high school. I definitely think maybe talking with our youth and seeing what their interests are, and things that, you know, what do they like to do? What do they like to do? Everything. I'm an advocate for education 100%, but there are other paths out here that you don't necessarily have to go to a traditional college, if you will, to be successful. And so for me personally, okay, in my household, it was going down. Everybody going to school.
Right.
You know. And whereas, I don't care what you're doing, everybody going to school.
Right.
And whereas I appreciate that, you know, I'm being jovial, but I appreciate that. But there are so many, you know, there are other avenues that are very lucrative. You know, that is our goal, that, you know, people are passionate about, that you can go and you can be educated and take these other avenues without, you know, say the traditional education route. But I would certainly expose our youth to some of these other avenues. Definitely talk with them and have conversations, you know, to see what it is that they enjoy doing and what they like to do. And then I will also see if there are, like, kind of be proactive, see if there are programs available. You know, like I was saying, where I am from, there weren't any that I was aware of. I would have loved to been exposed and been maybe a part of different programs that it talks about different careers and different things out there. I mean, I'm not even sure, you know, how is someone sure that they like something if they don't even know it exists? So,
right.
yeah, so.
Okay.
I'm very passionate about it because I often look at myself and where it's, I'm grateful for where I am, and things, things have turned out well. Of course, in retrospect, hindsight is always 2020. So there are a lot of things that I would do different, and some different subjects that I would have taken up and tried to learn about, in school. It's such such a time that, that we can really grasp a lot of information. And there are things that I really wish that I had spent a little bit more time under somebody and learning years ago. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to ask you now, do you have, I know you mentioned earlier about mentors, do you have career mentors now?
Yes, I do. And they are women that I have, since I've been at the organization I've been working at for these years. They're women that I have just become very acquainted with, and I don't know, our relationship has just grown. It started out as a professional relationship, but it just kind of went over into a personal one as well. So a lot of these women, they have been at my organization for quite some time, and I don't know, it's just something about wisdom and just and knowing the ropes, and me being able to trust them, that's comforting. Just being in corporate America. So yes, I do have some professional mentors.
Yeah. And do you feel like a lot of it, as far as with having them, that has been a key to your success?
I would say so, absolutely, because there have been times where, I don't know, maybe in a meeting, and I felt like it didn't go so well, or maybe I needed to come back and do a little more explaining on some slides, or just something, just anything, and all of those times, any time that I've ever went to someone with information like this, I promise they have been there before, and can really help me dissect the situation and give me sound advice on moving forward and what I need to do. And then sometimes that is, just relax, do nothing.
Right.
And that's needed too. That's needed as well sometimes. So I do.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move into the segment called Mother-Daughter Bonds, and this is an opportunity for, for the audience to get to know you even more, kind of in a fun way. And so, are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Well, how did your relationship with your mother prepare you for the woman you have become?
It has prepared me a lot. She is such a strong woman. She is, like I think I mentioned before, I'm kind of a daddy's girl, but me and my dad's personalities are very similar. So, and my mom, she helped me and shaped me to be strong. She is not as emotional, if you will, as I am. So whereas she's always been there for me, and she's definitely, there to listen and give me great sound advice, she's a shoulder for me to lean on when I'm all over the place. And then it's like, okay, now come together. Now what is wrong? What's wrong?
Right.
So she's definitely been that person, and she's been the rock of our family, and in my and her relationship, and she's such a warrior and a strong woman. So
awesome. Well, what book most influenced you?
Oh man, well that is such a tough question. I'm an avid reader. And of course, I gotta give a shout out to the Lord.
Right.
The Bible for sure.
Right. Oh. Well, that works. I mean, that's a good one. So that's good. Well,
Yes,
what keeps
Bible
you?
for sure. I do want to. I will say I am a lover of love too. Okay, and it just takes me back to you saying that in our introduction, my introduction rather, and not to be cliche with that. Okay,
Yeah.
but I really, really do love the five love languages. I really do.
Yes. Oh, that was
Yeah, I think that it's such a great book, and it really taught me so much about myself and
Yeah.
also other people in my life. So
Right, right. No, that's good. That's good. And I know you really kind of answered this one. It seems like your mom, when I was thinking about what keeps you grounded, that's another question. But you were talking about how your mom was the shoulder. So, I mean, I think we got that question answered. What keeps you grounded? Well, what question do you wish more people asked you?
hmm. That is such a great question, Latasha.
Good. Look. Ah.
I don't know. Maybe. How do I feel?
Okay.
Yep. How do I feel? I think just in the world, it's so easy just to be caught up, so busy, just so everything in our own lives, and it's something that I try to do, with other people. I like to extend that and make sure people are comfortable and just whatever. So maybe that.
Okay. All right. Well, what's the last thing that you binge watched?
Um, let's see here. Oh, the last season of Being Mary Jane.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, good stuff. What is something that every woman should try once in her lifetime?
Let's see. A bold red lipstick.
Okay. All right. That's good. What superpower would you like to have?
Ooh, I want to fly. I would love to fly.
All right. What would you say to a woman with a broken heart?
Oh. I would say don't lose hope.
Okay. And what's the most important lesson that you've learned in the last year?
Ooh, interesting. Stay woke.
Whoa! You better.
Stay woke.
Now just give us one example of staying woke.
No, man. They can go so many different avenues.
Right. Okay, well we'll keep it right there then. Okay, fine. Well, I want to move into a segment is dealing with generations, and I wanted to basically there's been a lot of talk about there being a generational divide, and a lot of our mission, our vision is bridging the gap, building a legacy. And so, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, do you believe that it is a generational divide?
I actually do. Yes, I do.
Okay, and why do you believe that?
Because for me, and I mean, this is, of course, this is my opinion. I believe it is has been the onset of technology
Okay.
And whereas technology is such a great thing, if we use it for the right reasons, it can also be a divide, and it can also hinder a lot of things.
Okay. Well, what is some, if you think about some, solutions to that, or just what do you think some things that we could do basically to change that atmosphere?
Sure. I think we could. We see it all the time. Just with so one big thing with technology that's always like the elephant in the room is social media. Okay, and
Right.
so and I'm an avid social media user on several different platforms. And I think it is a great tool. I do. I think it's a great tool, and I think it is a great way for us to reach a lot of hearts, to reach a lot of people, just for a lot of great reasons. But I also think that we can become so engrossed in social media that it can begin to be, if we're not grounded, okay, it can begin to be something that one can be obsessed with. So we see it all the time with, like, put your phone down, let's get back to family. Let's get back to doing things together where we're not always on the phone. We're not always capturing the moment digitally.
Yeah.
We're capturing those moments in our head and our hearts that we're spending with these people who are so dear to us. So.
Yeah, and it's so amazing. Even for me with my children, that's their thing, and we really, for me, when I'm with them, a lot of times it's not taking the pictures anymore. Like before, it was not a big deal. But they really don't care to do pictures, and my son has said, can we just enjoy the moment?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because you would think it would be the other way around. Like they do have their moments where they're on their devices and things like that. But I've cut back because I think I would take, I'm just like, oh, we got to take a picture of the moment or we have to do this. But I learned from them, even with that just enjoy the moment. And so I do that more.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So it even not just being with them and other places too. And I'm a pretty private person I'm not one to want to tag everywhere I'm going. And, I'm usually posting stuff after the fact, but I just think even in those things, it's just being able to enjoy that, and like you said, get back to like doing it on purpose is what I mean. So being intentional by it,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like you said, I do believe they're great avenues, but it's a way to turn it around if we just enjoy the moment. So thank you for that.
Sure.
And I wanted to segue into community service, and if you would tell us some ways that you're giving back to the community.
Sure. So I spend a lot of time doing different things within my church. We have different programs where for the youth, back to school things, some summer programs. Also on my job, I work with this group. And we just we don't have any one particular thing that we do all the time, but we take it upon ourselves, if you're a member of this group, to try to find two community service projects or different things just within the year that you can bring to the group that we can do. One of the most recent ones that we've done is made care kits for people's families who are in the hospital. Some people are in the hospital for a long time. They may have family members who are there with them. And so we bring together a lot of toiletries, crossword puzzles, just different things that might occupy their time and their hours while they're there. And also, just give them a little break. We might put little shampoo and different things like that in the package for them. So.
Wow, that's pretty awesome, Kim. Good job. That's great. That's great. I'm an advocate of, definitely giving back, and that's, of course, one of our areas as well as far as the foundation. But yeah, it's always good to hear, just different things that we're doing, because I believe that everyone should, give back and do any community outreach that's necessary. Is always someone who they need you, you know to do
Absolutely.
something. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to segue into the topic about faith, and wanted to know if you would share a time when your faith has been tested and how you came through it. And this is just an opportunity for whomever that may be listening in our audience. Just, they may need that encouragement, and knowing that someone, they went through something, and they're able to tell about how they overcame. I just think that that's a great way, to share.
Absolutely. Yes. So, what really comes to mind, it is very real. It was, and I think I mentioned it a little earlier when my grandmother passed away. So,
Okay.
we're often challenged, especially if you are a person of faith, when sickness strikes, or when things happen in your family. Of course, we're going to be on that main line.
Right.
And as a family, we were together praying for ultimate healing for my grandmother, and she ended up passing away. So in those moments, and in that moment, I did feel that maybe we hadn't prayed enough, or maybe we were just my faith was really challenged. But I did thank God in continuing to seek Him, and not harboring very hard feelings, or just trying to get a deeper understanding. I was granted peace, and I was able to understand that she is healed on the other side, and that's okay, and that's okay too. And so that is what really keeps me going and keeps me grounded, and and continues to give me hope that God is always there, and He hears all of our cries, and He never fails us, even when our carnal eye, it may look that way. So.
Yeah. How old was your grandmother?
She was 72. She was
Wow.
72.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And do you feel as though was she ready?
She was.
Okay. Yeah. I know one thing, when it comes to someone's will, it's like we can pray and we can want them to be here, but it really is ultimately they can release,
Mm-hmm.
so it's, sometimes it's just that simple that,
Yep.
she's like, I'm ready, and God has to honor her. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Um,
Yep. She was ready. She was tired, and she was ready. And we wanted her, of course. but
yeah.
um but yeah, she was ready. And so yeah, I have great peace about that now.
That's
And
awesome. That's
I'm
awesome.
thankful for that.
Yeah, and I pray definitely continue peace and that comfort and the blessings on you and your family. So, but thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Awesome. And so we're going to move into our closing segment, and it's called Matters of the Heart Moment. And
Okay.
the first question is, if you had the opportunity to speak to your 4-year-old self, what would you say to her?
Wow. It's so funny because I remember being 4.
Oh, look! Oh, wow! I love it. I love it.
I do. I would tell myself even at 4 years old, I guess to try to build myself up as as I encountered the world. But I would tell myself that I am okay. It is okay to be me, and continue to be me. Always be me.
Perfect. Who inspires you?
Oh, wow. I'm inspired by a lot. I'm inspired by people around me. I'm inspired by friends. I'm inspired by family. I'm even inspired by inspired by President Obama and his family.
Yeah.
So I gain and pull inspiration from several places. I do.
Okay. All right. Well, what's the best, I call it pearls of wisdom? It's like the piece of advice you have ever received.
Very interesting. Let's see, that I've ever received. That's hard. I don't know. I feel like I get wisdom nuggets all the time.
Yeah.
So just any one, I can't, I don't think I can really hone in on any particular thing. I can remember some of them for sure. And one of my mom's sisters, years ago, I don't remember or know like what the situation was, but I had gone to her for some advice and just wanted her opinion, on whatever the situation was, and she told me that it was okay for me to want help. It was okay for me to need help. And not to feel like I had to just go through everything or do everything by myself, or not to feel inadequate if I needed help or assistance. And so I've always remembered that. I used to be a little shy about asking for help, or especially kind of at work, or just getting into the workforce. I thought it made me look weak, or I didn't know what I was doing if I was raising my hand. But I really try to live by that now. So
perfect. No, that's awesome. And is there any last minute comments that you wanted to make, or a piece of advice, or anything like that?
No, not really. I just want to thank you for welcoming me onto the podcast today, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And we just thank you so much for, being with us, and for you sharing, and just sharing a piece of you. So we appreciate that.
Sure. Thank you. No problem.
You're welcome. And our goal at the Flora Pearl Foundation is to always be a blessing to all that we come in contact with by operating with the spirit of excellence. We want to thank you all so much for listening today, and you can visit our website at www.florapearlfoundation.org. We look forward to spending time with you all each week, and we will talk to you soon.